So the team at Results Freak have asked me to put together a very quick demonstration as to how your business channel uses Results Freak, and in particular the social networking accelerator, which was recently added to Results Freak. Results Freak is based on Microsoft Dynamics CRM, so it's quite good in that you can choose to have it sitting within Outlook. I thought that I was going to use it in the web browser all the time, but I've actually gone to Outlook as my default way of dealing with it. So it's just below my inbox here, and here it is in Outlook. I use the marketing tab most of the time, and let's go into social networking users. Here you can see some of the social networking users that we've already loaded up. Melanie has loaded up some of our colleagues' profiles, and here's mine, yBC Mark. Just with a couple of clicks you can click in and go into that particular user, and you've got a little bit of detail here. You can see that over time some other things are going to be added, but at the moment this is focused on Twitter. If you go into the administration tab, you'll see that my password is there, although it's been blanked out so that nobody else can see it. If you need to change your password or what have you, it's really easy. If I go down to interactions, I can see the recent tweets that I've done, and I haven't been tweeting a lot on the last month really, but for the tweets that I have done, they're all loaded in here, and if I wanted to I could double click and see exactly when they went out and how many followers I had at the time and so on. I'll come back to that in a second. But what I can do is I can click new social networking interaction. That basically means new tweet, and I can either tweet to somebody, so add in social networking contact here, or just send a general tweet out here. So that might be the tweet that I'd send. If I were to hit save and close now, that would just send as a tweet right now. However, if I were to put in a date, so you just click a date here, and I might choose Friday the 27th, which is in 2 days' time, and I might choose for it to go out at 2 a.m. Then it would go out at 2 a.m. and that would, whether I'm on my computer or not, that would happen then. So it's kind of like tweet later, but it's all from within CRM. And bear in mind that this is tracked completely from this point forward. So if I need to do some reporting on it and how often it was retweeted and all of those sorts of things, I can do an advanced search and find that information. I'm not actually going to post this now, so I'll move on to the next thing. But that's how you easily send out a tweet. So I'm going to close out of that. If I go into social network contacts, this is a really powerful little tool here. These are all the social networking contacts that we have right across our organisation in groups of 250. That's just the way the screen is built. But the great thing is, if I know that I've got somebody whose username starts with Mark, I can search for anyone that starts with Mark, and there you go, instantly I get all the marks that or things starting with Mark that we tweet out to. If I know that I want somebody in particular, I want to go and see the tweets relating to Penny Power, I can then just double click, and I go into Penny Power's profile within our database, and there she is. From her profile on Twitter, you can see bio description and the URLs that are in her profile. She's down as being based in or near London, and she has, at the time that I've done this, which is now obviously, nearly 3,000 contacts. All information which just gives you a bit of a picture about the person. If we had been using this a lot longer, and we haven't started using this tab, but it's really interesting, we can start tracking people and also their tweets as negative, neutral or positive. Now, what that means really depends on what you're tracking. It might be, if you're running an organisation where your brand is really important, or customer service, that if you get somebody complaining, you put them as negative, so you can then run a report and see anyone who's been negative about your brand, and you can analyse from that anything that you need to, whether it's brand perception or how you're dealing with complaints or whatever. And obviously the inverse is true if it's a positive thing. I can go to interactions and see where Penny has tweeted either directly to me or tweeted where she's mentioned me to somebody else. and there all the tweets are, and again I can double click on that if I want to take that further. I can convert Penny to a contact. It just so happens that she already is a contact, so she's already in our database with more information, and we're tracking any emails that we have between us and all of those good things. But if I wanted to, I could click convert to contact, and with one click, Penny and all of this information would be in the key part of our Results Freak database, which is also very useful. So I'm going to come out of that, and then let's go and have a look at interactions. Here you can see all of the interactions that have gone really in both directions, from and to people tweeting from our organisation. So if you go back a few days, you can see that there were quite a lot of conversations going on in both directions. You can see that the social networking contacts who are tweeting or retweeting us turn up in here. But if you go to today, it looks as though a lot of our stuff was purely outbound. There wasn't much conversation going on, and there could be various reasons for that. It looks like a lot of that was just within the space of a couple of hours in the afternoon. But it's all really, really good information. And you can also see that, let me just have a look at two of these. I'll get two that are the same. 489, that's not a good example. There you go. yBC production at 4:30 this afternoon, at the time that that tweet went out, had 1,500 contacts, and then 15 minutes later, 3 people had become contacts as well. And then 45 minutes later, there was no change. Now, that may or may not be relevant, but if you're building up a particular account for a particular reason, then that information is certainly very interesting. You can flag any particular tweet, inbound or outbound, as neutral, positive or negative, like I showed you before, and then you can sort or search by positivity, neutrality or negativity, which is all really good in terms of analysing stuff. There are also some reports which are really useful, which I'm not going to show you in detail, but there are 3 custom reports available, and you can actually get more reports built if you want them. But they show you very graphically a certain amount of information that's quite useful in terms of your tweeting and who's doing what, and volumes of tweets and all of those sorts of things. And again, they're just a couple of clicks of a button. So I'll show you, for example, if I was to run this report, I could choose selected records only, only the records that are currently being shown, or all records that apply to the search, and then hit run to run the report. Very, very easy. And then with almost any page that you're on, there are a number of things you can do. You can print the information you're looking at, you can export it to Excel or Word, and you can also assign certain bits of information to a colleague. So if there's a tweet where somebody's saying your customer service is rubbish, for example, I could assign that to a person in customer service who needs to know that information. You can also, at the click of a button, turn someone who you're connected to on Twitter into a lead. In other words, you think there might be a business opportunity there and somebody can follow that up, and it takes the social networking description, so in the case of Twitter, the bio description, and the particular message that it relates to, it takes that as part of the lead. And you can convert them into a case as well. So if somebody, for example, says that they're unhappy with something, and you've got customer service people or one person who comes in twice a week to deal with those sorts of things, you can convert them into a case, and then all that person needs to do is have a look at the existing open cases, and they can deal with them. So this social networking layer or accelerator really does integrate really nicely with all of the other stuff that we use a lot in Results Freak. And as we get to use it more and more, we know that it's going to be a very powerful thing for us. It's going to save us a lot of time. And I know that there are a couple of enhancements planned very soon, which are also going to be very interesting, which we're going to be keeping our eye out on. So it's not going to make any of our social networking any less personal or thoughtful or anything like that. It just means that we can save time, probably even enhance the personal nature of conversations that are going on. We can access information about previous conversations very easily, and importantly, it's all from one place. It's all from within Results Freak. So that really is my very brief demonstration. Hope it's been useful to you. I'm really happy to answer any questions because I feel quite passionately about this, and if I can help anybody else to work out whether this is appropriate for their business or not, I'd be more than happy to answer questions. Thanks for your time.